Welcome to Tech Ties and Human Vibes, where we explore the tech that powers modern businesses and drives innovation. I'm Adam, and with me is Nancy. We'll be talking to entrepreneurs, innovators, and industry experts about the tools they use, the challenges they face, and how technology is shaping the future of work. Let's dive in. Hey, I'm Adam with Tech Ties and Human Vibes, and I am here today with Nancy, my co-host, and we have the lovely Leslie Farmer.
Yeah. Did you forget my name? I'm just kidding.
Leslie, thank you for joining us today. We're very excited.
Yes, I'm so excited to be here today. Thank you for having me.
Oh, yes. We're so happy that you're here. And for those that don't know, Leslie is a partner in our consulting group, Sybil Consulting Group. So happy and excited to have Leslie here on the show today.
She's a smart one.
Oh, yeah. Smart cookie. Starting with the cookies again. Early on. Okay.
Way too early.
Yeah.
It's never too early for a good cookie.
This is true.
I mean,
That is true.
I sometimes have them for breakfast. So it's
Yeah.
all good. I'm an adult. I can do that.
Yeah, you can.
I do that
Very
all
much.
the time. If we have cookies in the house, they're getting ate at breakfast time.
There you go.
Are.
Oh my God. Well, speaking of cookies, we're here to talk about technology today.
Yeah.
How does that deal with cookies? Well, we
figured.
all know we have cookies
Other
on
than
our
the website kind.
There you go. It's the
There you
website kind. But those are going away at some point in time.
Yes.
Yeah. So, man, those are cookies we might miss or not. I don't know. I don't know.
I don't know if I'll miss them.
We'll be tracked in another way.
Yeah. Let's not go there today.
Different podcast.
Yeah.
After hours podcast? No. We can
Maybe.
rant all about that. No, I love it. I'm glad that we're here and we're going to talk about one of my favorite subjects, which is technology in business and growth. So Leslie, tell us a little bit about yourself for those that don't know
That's
who
right.
you are, right? Let's start
Who
there.
are you, Leslie?
Who are you?
I don't even know who you are.
Yeah. My name is Leslie Farmer. I came from Texas, which is where we are today, which is great. I have a background in software consulting and helping small businesses and certain industries work with their software systems and processes to make sure that they have what they need from the systems that they're using. So that's kind of my jam, is helping make sure that that my clients have what they need from the systems that they use. I started at a small software company right out of college. I did go to Texas A&M Giga Maggies, for those that are listening. And I got an MIS degree, so it's business and computers. And I always knew from a young age that I wanted to do something with computers. And it was just at the right time that computers were really becoming a thing. And so it's been really cool to see throughout my career where it's gone and how it's grown. So my background is in the software side of it. So the software side, customer service, customer support, project management. I'm not a good coder. I don't like actually coding. I understand data. I love a good database, which is a whole thing. There's a whole section of people that love data, which is great. But I just really love software and what it can do for you in technology as a business, as a person, in your daily life, or anywhere really. So,
Oof, that is the one thing that as a business owner and as someone that has also been in technology, I feel like there is such an important piece when it comes to knowing your systems, because a lot of the times most businesses will only use the systems that they have, 20%.
yes.
Without understanding truly the power behind the software and what it can do for a business in many different ways.
Yeah.
One of my favorite ways of using technology has always been to enhance customer experience and to build stronger relationships, right? So
Yep.
in your perspective, in your experience, how can small businesses use technology to enhance that and leverage that in those ways?
Yeah, I think that a lot of small businesses use a handful of different software or systems and processes. Um, and in order to be able to use them properly and get the right customer experience, you do have to know them. But I think that in order to get the right customer experience, you have to have good communication within the systems that you use. So whether it's the systems talking to each other, or the people helping support your business talking to each other using the systems that you have, that's kind of the biggest thing, is really understanding how they can help you communicate your to your customers what you're building, what you're selling, what you're doing. I think the communication part is one of the biggest pieces of being able to help serve your customer, because whether it's gathering information from them, giving information to them, or having information flow correctly through your own business, I think that's just the utmost important thing that you can do, using that technology and the systems that you have to help improve the customer experience. Excuse me. And then also, I think in a marketing perspective, letting them know that you're doing it, right? Like nobody's going to know what you're doing until you tell them that you're doing it.
Yep.
Even if you think it's run of the mill, ordinary, whatever. So it's that communication piece and being able to use those tools and systems for communication to your customer.
Oh yeah.
That's really good. So you would let them know that you're harvesting data from them.
I wouldn't. I mean, yeah, let them know that you're using their data properly in the way that it should be used. I mean, I think, yes, there's some guidance around that, but I think it's also like, hey, did you know that we did this? We upgraded this system because we wanted to serve you better.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah.
In that kind of way.
Yeah,
Not
that's
like
fair.
I'm going to harvest all your data. But yeah, there's definitely some data harvesting, I'm sure, at some point. Your data is
Harvesting data.
everywhere. But also, like, I'm using this data for good, and it's for you. It's for me to grow as a business or to help you as my customer or client.
Yeah, improve quality.
What are in that kind of same vein there? What are some ways you could automate these tasks for small businesses? How can they have a, I don't know, help me out here. How can you, I feel like I'm blundering here.
Not make it so manual.
Yes.
And trying to get them all. I think one thing I did mention was just making sure they connect to each other in some way or some form, whether it be an API in the background or an email that goes somewhere, a notification. Yeah. So there's definitely something about making sure the systems kind of work together for you and not against you. Nancy might have some other ideas of how to automate. I don't know if there's specific systems or how to do that, but I think being able to
because you're a small
communicate
business,
together,
you have a lot of time.
Right.
You want to free some time up. How can you automate? Do you have anything you want to add to that?
Yeah. So typically, when I start to look at a customer's environment or a business's environment and start to think about how can we automate, the first and foremost important thing to have is processes documented, which is like the very beginning, the first step, right? And most people miss that step, which they don't realize that if you don't have that clearly documented, then it's going to be even harder to decipher how that should then translate into the different systems that you use and what to automate where and when. Because as much as I love automation and I say like automate all things, you really can't automate all things. There's some human element that has to come in place with it. But knowing and understanding your processes first, and then being able to translate that into the systems that you're going to be using, to then being able to free up time, that's I think the way to go about it. Now, what do you automate? And how do you automate it? I think that is very specific to a business, to an organization, and how they function. So there's tons of tools out there, from line of business softwares to CRMs, all sorts of different types of softwares and systems that you can take and build your process into that, and then have different sequences or different tasks that are prompted by different triggers. And so the but you really have to have an understanding of what is that step by step in order for you to figure out what are then the tasks that you can automate.
Yeah, I like that you put that there, because I feel like sometimes I don't even think about that part, because I feel like that's such a given in my line of work, and just making sure that people understand the systems. Yeah, documentation is key. I spent many years documenting, recording, putting stuff out there, how to use the system, how to make it right for you. But yes, that is definitely a part of it. And also, you can't automate something that's not digitized in some way. And so that's also part of it. Like if you're going off emails and Excel spreadsheets or handwritten things that are on a Post-it note on somebody's computer, you're going to have a hard time automating that, right? So like, how do you figure that out and make sure that you can digitize it properly by using those systems that you have in place, by using those operating procedures that you have put together? And then as you put that together, yes, you'll be able to kind of figure out where those points and triggers are in whatever system you're using to be able to automate that thing.
And I think it's really important that for a small business to understand what you're paying for, because everybody has software, right? What you're paying for, and what comes with that software. And just a side note, I went to get my haircut yesterday. So I had set this appointment a week ago to get my haircut before I came down to Texas. And I call this little lady up and I tell her, when I needed to be there, or she let me know what appointment she had. I thought I was good. So I showed up at 3:00. Actually, it was via text message. So I showed up at 3:00 and she said, sorry, I had you literally written down in her book for 2:00. And I said, well, here in this text message, and I screenshot it and sent it to her. I said, you said 3:00. I said, do you not have an online system? She said, no. I said, who do you
There's
use?
a book
And
with a
she
pen
said,
and
well, I don't want
paper.
to pay for anything. I said, well, who do you use for your POS? She said, I use Square. I said, okay. I just happen to know that Square will integrate with Instagram as a free booking service. And so you can book through Instagram and shove it to Square, and it can show up in your device. And so I shot that over to her and I said, is there any way we can implement this for the next time? Because I'm frustrated that, I missed out on a haircut appointment and she missed out on money, all because she wrote it down on a Post-it of all things.
And it didn't get to the right place.
I think it's right at the place.
Yeah.
So not understanding,
That's huge.
you're paying for this software, right? She's paying for Square. She just doesn't understand it.
Right.
And so that's where you would come into.
Yeah. And there's so many people in a lot of industries. Oh, I pay this much money for the software. I'm not using all of it. I know there's more out there. I just don't know what I don't know. I don't know what else I can do with it. And so I think that's also where technology comes into play, with whether it's a consultant or somebody asking around, hey, did you know that you could do that? Letting other people know, hey, that's such a great example of not knowing that you had something that you could have already used.
Yeah.
And then also, you're not going to use 100% of every software. That's just not a thing for most people, unless you're maybe Microsoft. I don't know. I guess Microsoft probably uses all of Microsoft. But other than that, like, I don't know that there's a specific piece of software that you're going to use 100% of what it's designed for all of the time. And so, but finding those little things out that you can use within the realm of how you might need to use it is great.
So that leads me to this question that you may or may not have already answered. Well, what are some common mistakes that small businesses make when implementing new systems?
I'm like, can I start off on that one?
Yeah, I was like, can I start off on that one? Because I feel like
we're
this
gonna
is
fight
like
over this one.
There's so many. I'll let Nancy start on this one.
Yeah. So I want to just start off by saying most software companies, when they build a product, they build it. Usually, it starts off with a specific problem that they're trying to solve, and then we'll build from there in a general sense. So let's say they're making a product that is for a specific industry. It's not for a specific business. So a huge mistake that a lot of times is made is going in, selecting a software because it's part of your industry and thinking that you're going to be able to use it day one. And that you're going to be able to not only use it day one, but it's going to run your business like never before. Well, that's not necessarily the case, because even if it's made for a specific industry, softwares are made in a general sense.
Yeah.
And so they truly have to be, kind of like we talk about marketing, has to be customized to fit your business. So that's what I see as one of the biggest mistakes that's made. Did I steal your answer?
No, I have
thank
a
God.
lot of other answers too. That's
A
fine.
lot of other answers.
We could probably go on this for a while, but I think we'll maybe not today. But so I think, totally and for sure, you're not going to use 100% of it. You are going to have to customize it. I don't care who you are. I don't care where you are. You're going to have to, that's just a thing. So not knowing that, I think, is one of the mistakes of small businesses. The other thing that a lot of small businesses make, the mistake, is thinking that they can do it themselves without any help. And I feel like that is kind of an overarching always and forever, I can just do it. I'm just going to dive in and figure it out and learn it. Well, you could if you're technologically savvy, right? You can, yes. But should you do that is it one question. And then also, is that worth your time and effort, right? It's the same reason you probably early on you get a bookkeeper, right? You find a good business lawyer, you find a good finance person that can help you, whatever it is. Like, it's one of those basic things that, like, it's worth your time. Is it worth your time or not? And is it worth that money that you're going to spend to have someone help you that knows what they're doing, that they can help walk you through that process? Because you might not realize that not every software is not meant for everybody the same exact way. Because you think, oh, this marketing software, this calendar software, this email software, gosh, email, right? 1,000 different options. You're not going to use them all. But what works for you and your system and your process in your company is obviously the best way, the most efficient. The earlier you can get to that point and understand that, the better.
So I feel like this episode is going to turn into 2 episodes.
Yeah, I might have to come back.
Because this is like such meaty information that I feel like we're going to have to continue this. So before we cut off, and we may just leave everyone at a cliffhanger for now, and you got to come back to hear the rest of it. But I always love to close the show with a tip that business owners can use. We've been talking about the mistakes that people use. So what is your tip, Leslie, before we cut off and get to part 2?
What's my tip for
small business owners to avoid some of the mistakes that they make?
In 2 minutes or less.
In 2 minutes or less. I don't know that I can do that. No, I think just knowing when to ask for help, I think, is huge. And I think that kind of goes along with that mistake of not, or thinking that you can do it all and you can't. But knowing when to ask for help is huge, and communicating with your team or whoever you might be working with, I think is also huge. So whatever is happening, whatever changes are going on, like, make sure you communicate it and that you have figured out, okay, this is where we need to go. This is who we're going after or what we're doing, whatever it is. Just make sure you communicate that information using whatever tools that you can. Obviously, anything digital is better than a Post-it note at this day and age. And if you have a Post-it note, take a picture of it, upload it to your Drive, whatever you need to do. But, like, make sure you're communicating properly.
Love it.
Yeah, I think I'll stop there because I could go.
That's a great tip. That's a
won't
great
go
tip. Love that.
That's great.
All right. Well, folks, join us for the next episode where we will continue to get Leslie to give us all of the juicy secrets of how to get your systems right and working for you, not against you.
For you, that's right.
That's right. All right. We'll see y'all later.
All right. See you guys.